Hello, good afternoon. Welcome to another Kerfuffle Showcase. Rich, fantastic to have you here from the PropTech Leviathan Build Your Market. How are you, mate? Are you okay?
Yeah, very good, very good. Thank you very much, mate. Yeah.
As I would expect with someone of your technical prowess, you're all Jerry Maguire'd up, so I'm expecting nothing but the very best in terms of sound quality and everything. Rich, we've had Damon on before. I referred to you guys as you weren't one of the first prop techs, but you were certainly in the wave just after that. And I think that was in a almost direct response to the issues when Rick and Damon had started the business, hadn't they? Challenges they themselves were facing there. You guys have been in the game for so long now, haven't you? That you've kind of seen all the different ages and everything else there. That leads us kind of to the question: how have you seen the agents, first of all, get used to digital marketing in general, and where do you think they're up to at the moment?
Interesting question, because it is one of our biggest challenges, actually. We don't actually have to pitch and sell brief your market. What we actually have to do is pitch and educate people as to the importance of digital marketing, because actually the facility to do it, you can use lots of different facilities. Obviously ours is the best one, as we would say, because ours is integrated with the other software providers, which makes it easier for everybody to use, and we obviously provide content and things like that. But the theory of digital marketing, actually with COVID-19, it's really helped us, because everybody suddenly wasn't allowed to go in their offices, and sat at home and went, oh Christ, what do I do to contact my my customer base? How do I keep in touch with them? How do I generate more business? And obviously the answer to that is digital marketing. They need to be at the forefront of the consumer's mind's eye all the time. They've all got these huge databases in the UK, and you know, it's interesting because I know you've had some people from Australia on and things like that, and the difference between their market and our market is, in the UK, the average estate agent will have about 20,000 contacts in their database. In Australia, they'll have about 200 contacts, and they'll literally ring them every single month and stay in contact with them every single month. In the UK, with 20,000 contacts, you can't ring them every single month. It's impossible. So therefore, you need to stay at the forefront of their mind's eye for when they are ready to sell. It might be a past buyer, a past seller who sold 7 years ago or something, and when they want to resell, you want your business to be at the forefront of their mind's eye, and the only way to do that is through digital marketing, really, at the end of the day. So
that's an interesting point, that, and it's certainly I've seen it as true to a point. Why do you feel that is the case? That difference with it? What's the nuance in their marketplace that means that they don't have these huge? Because I think it's also fair to say, isn't it? It's not always a good thing. You do hear some agents talk very proudly and almost brag about the fact we've got 40,000 contacts in there, which again is one of those vanity stats, because without the engagement in there, it's meaningless anyway, isn't it? So why do you think there is the two differences between it? Is it just because Aussie agents have a more personal sort of relationship with it, and it's not the brand per se that does the marketing?
Yeah, exactly. It's more of a personal relationship outside the UK. So it's the same in Australia, in America. People might even go to an estate agent when they're buying a house and have a search agent. Now, we have that a little bit in London, but outside of London, not really. They actually see them as the person who's going to help them through the whole process overseas. And it's easier for the person to help them with the whole process overseas because they might get 3 to 6% commission. In the UK, you know, you're sort of the 1s and 2%. So it doesn't command that fee level that you build a rapport.
Are you saying we have to do more than just to make the numbers stack up?
Yeah, we end up a lot more volume merchant as a business, unfortunately, just to make it stack up. And what as a consequence is we use portals like the Rightmoves, the Zooplas, and the on the markets. We end up with giant databases because all the buyers then flow through those databases. But yeah, in Australia, you might have your 20 clients that you're servicing this month that you're actually looking for properties for, as well as selling properties. You know, it's kind of like that. So it's a lot more personal service outside the UK than it is in the UK.
But you're trying to change that. Obviously, that whole digital angle isn't meant to replace human contact, is it? It's allowed you to be much more targeted with it and to deliver where you need to. You know, simply delivering automated stats on that is no. There's no need for that. There's no place for that, is there? It needs to be very hands-on, targeted. What do they call it? Sniper shot style marketing when you're talking to somebody.
Yeah, it needs to have a mixture of both. The automation to take the process, so you know everything's going out of your hands, but then, as you say, be specific about what's going out to people, because you can be really, really relevant, especially if you've got an integration there. You can then snip it in lots of relevant information. So somebody who bought a house off you 5 years ago, you could send a 5-year anniversary message saying you bought a house off us 5 years ago, 42 Acacia Avenue, for this price on this date. You're coming up for a 5-year anniversary of exchange. Would you be interested in updated valuation, or even cross-sell? Thinking of refinancing, here's the latest mortgage rates from our mortgage broker. But it's not intended to replace personal service. It's intended to generate you a lead that you then follow up and follow up with personal service. And there's even lead scoring built into platforms like ours nowadays as well. So you can actually go on and it will lead score all of the individuals based upon their behavior. So that's behavior across email and website, to identify who the best people are you should be speaking to when you should be speaking to them. So it's sifting down the 20,000 contacts to a manageable number that are engaging with you, are interested in doing something with you at that point in time. That's the point of it.
So I see EDM providers, and you're far more than just an EDM, electronic direct mail provider, as they call them these days. You've truly grown into there's a whole data collection services, isn't there, and analytical elements to what you do there. But for me, if there was two goals that, if you like, the everyday agent would be looking for, it would be the one that I've made myself, as usual, very unpopular with agents by saying, look, you're not short of leads. Stop moaning you're short of leads. You've got the leads, but admittedly, you find it hard to qualify the hot ones, the Glengarry, Glen Ross style leads, and get to them first and foremost. And then you do find it also difficult to deal with the other leads, who many will unfairly deem tire kickers. And so actually, a lot of the time, they simply just don't service it. Now, the companies like Brief Your Market, if they can deliver on just those two main elements there, you're doing more than I would suggest 90% of the agents in the UK are doing at the moment, aren't you?
Yeah, that's exactly it. What we have an approach that we call it kiss and forget marketing that you're referring to there. Somebody who's landed in their database, they don't have time to service properly. They might send them some details or something like that. They end up in the archive folder on their software system and they're not serviced. Yeah. We will then engage with those people and nurture market them until they're at a stage where they are ready to be speaking to somebody. So yeah, we don't, as you say, the volumes of leads registering, they don't need any more. They just need to service those ones properly and nurture them into certain funnels and certain journeys. And that's where we kick in and help with that. And that is the importance of digital marketing. When you've got giant databases, you have to sift them, but you also have to engage with it. It's not, for me, it's not just about repeat business opportunities or generating business in there. It's also the cross-sell and the upsell. So the first thing I'll do with an estate agent is say, okay, let's have a look at your database and what you've got in there. And one of the easiest upsells, for instance, is I'll go, well, look at all these let-only landlords you serviced over the last 10 years. You've got 300 let-only landlords or 3,000 let-only landlords. If we only converted 10% of them to fully managed, there's a great upsell there for you. And then cross-sell, why are we not talking about mortgages, conveyancing, media services, insurance services during the journey? Because actually, for me, estate agents don't sell houses anymore. That's not what it's about. It's about helping people move. That's their job, is helping people move. And therefore, the more services you can help people with, you're not having to ram them down their throat and sell them at them. If you can just help the people with those things and you help them move, then you're going to be seen as a much better, more, full service estate agent at the end of the day.
An expert in your field, isn't it? And I think the advantage here is, as you said, Rich, is that actually, because we sell and move so rarely, genuinely the public, the punter, on the whole, doesn't really know what the limits of what an agent is supposed to do. So as long as you come across confidently and knowledgeably, everything's open to you, from financial services, conveyancing, utilities. I love the idea of the concierge services, people like the go-tos of the world. Positioned properly, you shouldn't feel embarrassed about that. That should be genuinely put on there as an extra reason to go to the agent, shouldn't it? And I think we still feel a little bit too much, and certainly all the stats show you, looking in all the CRM packages, that front office staff do not like cross-selling, or find it very difficult rather to cross-sell too many different products. And that's where the digital journey does come in, doesn't it?
It does. It'll help automate it, so it takes it out of the hands. Somebody books a viewing, books a second viewing, offer made, offer accepted. You could be triggering out those journeys at those points, saying, "Have you sorted out your ongoing costs of the purchase? Do you know what they're likely to be? We can give you a suggestion as what they're likely to be for conveyancing. Have you got an agreement in principle for mortgaging? We can help you with that." Because quite a lot of people don't even know what their affordability is. People will go, "Oh, we think we're looking for a £300,000 house." They won't have done an affordability check, and they could actually be able to afford a £400,000 house.
And that's been fairly fluid during lockdown, hasn't it? As financial services rules have tightened, loosened, seemingly on a weekly basis, you do need to have that expertise. By the way, I'm a little bit peeved there. The kiss and forget was something I told Damon in confidence about my time at university. So he's a little bit naughty there. You can have a word with him on that, but I'll get the paycheck for the use of that. Actually, let's start there then, Rich. I mean, we don't have to don't let's do a war and peace on it. But first of all, give us a bit of background, as we do very briefly there on the company, and then talk about you, especially you joining the business. That's where I'm keen to find as well.
Yeah. So I've been with the business for 4 years now. I think it's 4 years. Before that, I was with the Guild and Fine and Country, and before that, I had my own business. So I got into the industry through selling international properties over in Italy. Linked together with UK estate agents, and actually worked with Coldwell Banker to bring Coldwell Banker to Europe and link all of those together while I was selling international property. Then formed JV with the Guild and Fine and Country, eventually joined them, spent 10 years there, really enjoyed that journey. And that sort of really indoctrinated me even closer to estate agency, to really understand, what their goals were, what they needed to do, and that's really helped me as I came across here. So then, I've been here 4 years. Biggest challenge set me when I joined the business was to understand why customers were leaving the business, because we had a leaky bucket, if you like, back then, and really that.
Richard, that's true as well, isn't it? It's a really tough vertical to be in, isn't it, EDM? Because it's very easy to sign up to these ones, but the expectation level often doesn't match initial results. And so you do see, whether it's from MailChimp all the way through to your Pardots at the very top, very high levels of churn, don't you? So I know you've been honest, and I think Damon was saying in the early days, obviously there was absolutely exponential growth there, and then struggled a little bit with the customer service, and it took a while for you to sort of review that again, wasn't it? Find out what the punters really want, and pivot and change your business approach. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, 100%, and that's why I now don't compare ourselves to a Pardot, a MailChimp, because actually we're not software as a service. But when I joined, everybody thought this business was software as a service, and it's only recently that we've sort of pushed them to go, no, actually we're a marketing business with the added benefit that we have software that powers the marketing. Because software as a service, people come along and you go, yep, there's your software, off you go, do your marketing. In our industry, they either don't have time to do their marketing, they don't know what marketing they should be doing to achieve the best results, and so what they actually need is guidance on both content, as to what they should be doing, how to do it, and in some cases they even need a fully managed service where we will actually do the sending for them, so they can outsource the whole marketing to us, and we will literally be doing all the sends for them. and actually in our industry, I find that's what our customers need more and more. So if you like, we're a marketing consultancy with the added benefit of the software there.
And this is where the knowledge of you guys in a state agency really comes into play. We were talking, we had a focus on the websites in the industry, and what was very interesting is they obviously all of the guys, from Starbreeze through to the Home Flows, Property Jungles, Estate Apps, they disagreed on many points, but the one thing that they absolutely all concurred on was they all said, obviously, come to us individually. If not, go to one of the other ones, because it's just so risky going to somebody who doesn't understand the industry. You could spend a lifetime and very expensively, talking to people who are quite adept in their core skill, aren't they, of websites or digital marketing. But you can't wait for them to catch up a lot of the time, can you?
No, 100%. So we talk the agent's language. So we understand their goals. They want more valuations, more instructions, more mortgage appraisals, more conveyancing referrals, those goals. And we actually display those goals to them. Because we're direct marketers, we're actually able to track anybody who's clicking or opening an email saying, I'm interested in a valuation, goes back up inside the software as a valuation book. So in Repit, Desres, Vibra, whoever, as a valuation book, we can track and join those two together. So we can actually show them what their goals are. Whereas if you go to a generic software provider like a MailChimp or a .mailer or something like that, first of all, you're going to have to import your data into it in the first place. But then there is no mechanism for tracking your return on investment, because you're just going to send out a load of emails and you'll have your click-through rate and your open rate and link clicks and things like that. But none of them actually are relevant to what your goals are. We'll actually say, no, here's the campaign to send. Let's hit everybody at a 5-year anniversary of exchange for revaluation, remortgage. Let's hit them with these calls to action. And when they click it, let's track them, and we'll actually tell you how many you get through for revaluation work and how many you get through for remortgage work. And we'll track them all the way through the process and show you financially how much return on investment using the system and the marketing can work for you.
And that dashboard, again, isn't it, is really born out of that, looking at like what was out there in the wider world and seeing, and I think your challenge again there with some clients was that it was just their inability to be able to talk about ROI. Suppliers are very good at talking about the ROI we deliver, less good about actually putting specifics on it. And now that new dashboard that you've got in, is it Boost, the Boost Your Market part of the element there, really ties all of these elements down together, doesn't it, to give you a very clear idea of exactly what business you're getting out of the back of it. And that's just the stuff you can definitively lay your hat on, isn't it? There will obviously be other soft benefits that, of course, are harder to gauge.
Yeah, there's all the brand awareness benefits and things like that, because we still advocate brand awareness. But the campaign benefits, where you're going to send a campaign or a triggered journey that literally have a call to action, we will track all of that return on investment from those activities. It's born. The reason we did the ROI dashboard is it is born out of the churn. So we looked at the churn and we said, what were the common reasons why customers left us? And they were that they didn't know what to send and when to send it. They didn't have time to send anything. So to put the content together was the biggest part that they said they didn't have time to do. They didn't know what return they were getting when they were sending it. So they were going, oh, it's all nice, and people say our marketing's nice, but don't know what it's doing for me. So that's where we flipped the company over the last 4 years, is to gear it to be a marketing consultancy business that helps them understand what they should be sending, when they should be sending it, and what return they're getting from sending it. And as you say, that Boost dashboard will even lead score individuals on that and say, yeah, this is what you should be sending. Here's your return. But here's even individuals that are in the nurture funnel that you could even pick up the phone to these guys if you want to.
Yeah, and it's literally teeing those up and saying, whatever else you do today, these, some people have an ethos of 10 calls before 10, don't they? Yeah. Those are the ones that you get on board with and make sure that you obviously deliver for it. Now, looking at your client base, of course, is very true as well. You've dealt with some of the very, and still deal with some of the very, top-end agents, leading agents, thought leaders there. I was having a look just before, and I think they've just posted it up here again, just talking about, obviously, Kai it over at Bradley's, fantastic agency down on the South Coast. The ease in which it allows you to communicate with your database, whether that be all or part of it. And I think that's a crucial element, isn't it, that people often underestimate. And you were talking about there, which was in the early days. I remember Rick and Damon talking about, the ability to be prescriptive, that ability to actually log in and get certain information. So, and I always challenge them, well, is that something that, people actually use, that categorization? And it's really, really interesting now, isn't it, that actually almost all digital marketing has gone down that route now, because without being able to segment it in that way and then deliver it there, ultimately you're still going to probably be spamming people to a large degree, aren't you?
Yeah. So obviously, the more relevant you make content, the higher your response rate. So that categorization, well, actually, GDPR has helped us enormously with categorization. And there's not many people who will look at it and go, GDPR's helped you? but GDPR has, because what GDPR says is you should only send people stuff that's relevant for them, and you should have the ability to allow them to decide what's relevant and opt in and have content that's specific for them. So that's helped us in a way, because everybody then started using our preference engine. And as you say, our preference engine was born out in the beginning in 2008 when the business was started. And it was just a happy coincidence that GDPR came along and we went, oh, well, actually, our preference engine does exactly what this is. No development required. So yeah, to be specific about it, and it enables the customer to be in control of their own journey. So you might say, yes, I'm interested in understanding about mortgage rates, because you are coming up for your mortgage anniversary, and so then you can specify that and receive content specific for that.
And indeed, self-service, amend those, edit them as and when you need, can't you?
Yeah, you can change them at any point in time. So it's not just a case of unsubscribe as a link at the bottom of the email. It's unsubscribe or edit preferences, because you might not want to unsubscribe from the whole mix. You might want to just unsubscribe from certain elements, or subscribe for additional elements, that kind of thing.
Perfect. That's great. And Kevin James, I think I read him out before, says always a great service at BYM. So I can't.
Thank you, Kevin.
Nice way to finish it, isn't it? So cool. Okay, thank you very much. Thank you everybody for taking part, and we'll catch up with you soon. Cheers, Rich.
Cool. Thanks, matey. Speak to you later. Cheers, everybody. Bye.